Imagine a universe where Darkseid's greatest obsession is no longer a distant prophecy, but a completed design. A universe where the anti-life equation isn't a threat waiting to be unleashed. He has already been found, already mastered, already weaponized. Before the Justice League can even sense the coming storm, existence itself begins to kneel. And in this timeline, the question is no longer how to stop Darkseid, but whether free will can survive a god who now controls the concept of choice itself. It begins with silence and unnatural stillness that spreads across the war-torn plains of Apokolips. The planet, normally trembling under the weight of fire pits and endless screams, holds its breath. Something ancient has awakened, something older than Darkseid's reign, older than New Genesis, older than the Source itself. For millennia, the Dark God searched for it obsessively, tearing through worlds, interrogating prophets, enslaving entire civilizations in his relentless pursuit. But today, he stands not as a tyrant demanding answers today, he stands as a conqueror receiving them. Within the throne citadel, deep beneath the obsidian slabs of the royal chamber, the walls shift and crack with static. Patterns of pure logic writhe across the stone, ancient symbols crawling like living equations. The air distorts. The Omega sanction hums through Darkseid's veins as he steps toward the glowing fissure. Darkseid trembles by his side, terrified yet unable to look away. "My lord," he whispers, voice shaking. "The breach. It shouldn't be opened." The Source, Darkseid, silences him with a single glance that feels like the closing of a tomb. The fissure erupts, blinding white. Reality bends inward, folding over itself like the collapse of a dying star. And then, the universe speaks, not in words, but in raw command. A thought that is not a thought, a presence older than creation. The anti-life equation pours into Darkseid not as a puzzle to be solved, but as a truth that was always waiting for him to arrive. He does not scream, he does not stagger. Instead, he inhales slowly, savagely, as if taking in the scent of a long-awaited victory. The chamber shakes, Darkseid falls to his knees, and across Apokolips, every parademon stops mid-flight. Every machine halts mid-stride. Every soldier drops their weapons as reality chills. The sky fractures with impossible geometry, and the fire pits dim to a black, unnatural calm. Darkseid rises eyes, glowing with a magnitude of power that even gods cannot describe. The lines of the anti-life equation pulse beneath his skin, shifting like an eldritch script, rewriting itself endlessly. At last, he murmurs, his voice low and primal, "All life, all will, all thought, is mine to command." And at that exact moment across the universe people begin to collapse. On distant Earth, in the depths of star labs, alarms erupt as seismic patterns spike across every monitoring system. Dr. Silas Stone stares at impossible readings. People are fainting on the streets, freezing mid-sentence, dropping phones as if their minds were struck by a sudden void. Somewhere in Metropolis, Lois Lane clutches her head as a strange ringing overwhelms her. Bruce Wayne, while alone in the Batcave, feels the edges of his mind stretch unnaturally, as if an unseen hand were probing the architecture of his thoughts. Meanwhile, Superman, floating above Earth on a routine orbital scan, feels it before any instrument can detect it. Not a tremor, not a shockwave, something far more suffocating. The sensation of another will pressing against the universe, bending freedom itself into submission. His heartbeat spikes, his vision blurs. For the first time in years, he hears something close to fear in his own breath. He rockets through the atmosphere, landing at the watchtower with a sonic boom. The lights flicker violently. Cyborg spins from the console, panicked. "Clark, something's overriding every neural network on Earth. Every digital system is scrambling. Something is rewriting thought patterns." Wonder Woman enters with a grim expression. "The gods feel it too," she says. Hades whispered of an ancient power awakening, one not seen since the dawn of existence. But before another word can be exchanged, every screen in the watchtower glitches, distorts, then snaps into a single, horrifying image. Darkseid's face, calm, stone-carved, and framed by an aura of impossible energy. "My children," his voice echoes, vibrating through matter itself. "The age of choice has ended. The final order begins." Superman steps forward, jaw tight. "Darkseid, what have you done?" Across the cosmos, Darkseid's laughter rumbles softly. Kal-El, he says, I have given your universe the gift you were too weak to claim. Freedom is an illusion. Hope is a sickness. I have found the cure. The screens pulse. A whisper slides into the watchtower like a serpent slithering between thoughts. Cyborg clutches his head as systems within him begin to override. He's inside the neural lattice. He's inside everything. Superman's eyes widen. Darkseid hasn't just found the anti-life equation. He has already started using it. And the Justice League is seconds away from losing their minds. Superman doesn't wait. In a burst of panic-fueled speed, he grabs Cyborg by the shoulders, just as Victor's eyes flicker with glitching red code. Victor, look at me. Fight it. Focus on my voice. Cyborg tries, gritting his teeth as distorted fragments of Darkseid's will claw at the edges of his consciousness. Wonder Woman wraps her lasso around him, its golden light flaring violently. The truth-binding energy forces order on Victor's spiraling mind, but even the lasso trembles as if resisting something larger, older, more absolute. It's not enough, Victor gasps. He's rewriting the core of my brain, organic and digital. I can see him pulling Earth into alignment with the equation. People's thoughts, collapsing, folding under him. Batman's voice crackles through the comms, low and strained. I've isolated a safe channel. Don't speak unless necessary. Audio distortion has already overtaken the main frequencies. The background noise behind Bruce is a storm of alarms. Darkseid isn't attacking us with ships. He's attacking the concept of autonomy itself. The watchtower jolts sharply. Lights snap to black. A wave of psychic pressure floods the station like a tidal surge. Wonder Woman's knees nearly buckle. Cyborg screams, a metallic distortion ripping through his voice modulator. Superman grits his teeth as the pressure crushes his senses, trying to invade him. But something in his Kryptonian biology slows the corruption. Not stops, it just buys him seconds. Seconds that he uses. He lifts his head, heat vision burning across the room, severing the watchtower's central link to Earth's digital grid. Sparks rain down. The psychic pressure lightens slightly. It's him, Diana mutters, bracing herself. He's not speaking to us. He's speaking to everyone. Across Earth, entire cities freeze under a suffocating mental shadow. In Gotham, crowds stop midst, their eyes glazing over as a voice murmurs in their minds. In Central City, people slump to the ground as if sleepwalking toward oblivion. In Metropolis, the Daily Planet staff begin chanting softly, their voices merging into a monotone rhythm. There is no self. There is only Darkseid. Darkseid is not influencing thoughts. He is erasing the idea that thoughts belong to individuals. Superman's expression hardens. We end this now. But they are already too late. The watchtower ruptures as a boom tube tears reality open. From the swirling vortex steps not an army, but a single figure. Cloaked, silent, a silhouette of something. Once human, now hollow. Batman. His eyes glow with the emptiness of the anti-life equation. Not red, not white, but the dull, lifeless color of a broken will. Superman staggers back, choking on disbelief. Bruce. The corrupted Batman speaks, voice a dead monotone. You are unnecessary. Struggle is unnecessary. The equation has shown me the truth. He moves with impossible speed, faster than even Superman expects. In one motion, he hurls a cluster of sonic disruptors across the room. They explode in pure frequency anti-life. Encoded Diana is thrown into the bulkhead. Cyborg collapses, circuits spasming. Superman shields them both. But the wave cuts deep into his nerves, forcing him to his knees. Batman walks calmly toward him, each step echoing through the fractured watchtower. Kal-El, he says, the anti-life equation is peace. No war. No fear. No doubt. No pain. You protect free will because you fear its consequences. Darkseid has freed me from that burden. Superman clenches his fists. Bruce, listen to me. You're being controlled. Controlled. Batman repeats, tilting his head. No, I am clarified. He raises a gauntlet, Omega-imbued tech glowing with Darkseid's sigil. You'll be correct. A blast fires toward Superman, cracking the floor open. Superman dodges not out of fear, but out of desperation. He refuses to hurt Bruce. He refuses to accept that his best friend has already fallen. Wonder Woman rises behind Batman, blood on her lip, breathing unsteadily. Bruce, she whispers, if even you have surrendered. Batman turns his head sharply, eyes dead. I did not surrender. I simply accepted the only truth that has ever mattered. What happens next is too fast for even a full god to anticipate. Batman moves to strike Wonder Woman, but Superman intercepts, shattering the floor beneath them. Batman flips back, uninjured, emotionless. You cannot win, Clark. I have glimpsed the equation. I have seen what life looks like without choice. It is beautiful. Cyborg, shaking, tries to rise. He's stalling, he warns through gritted teeth. Darkseid, he's using Bruce as a relay. The equation is expanding. If he reaches full planetary saturation, there won't be anyone left to fight back. Superman's heart sinks. Diana's grip tightens on her sword. And on Apokolips. Darkseid watches through Batman's eyes, a faint smile spreading across his granite face. Let him resist, he says. Let hope writhe a moment longer. It makes the fall sweeter. Back in the watchtower, Superman steps forward with a trembling breath. Cliff, I don't want to fight you. Batman raises his gauntlet once more, voice flat as death. That is why you will lose. And the watchtower explodes into chaos. The blast tears through the watchtower like a meteor ripping open a mountain. Metal screams, lights burst, and the vacuum of space claws at the ruptured hull. Superman instinctively grabs Wonder Woman and Cyborg, pushing them behind a collapsing support pillar as the shockwave hurls them backward. Batman, however, walks through the destruction untouched, the anti-life equation shimmering around him like a silent shield. Superman fires across the room, catching Batman mid-stride and tackling him through several walls. They spin through debris spiraling into the shattered observation deck. Batman lands first, skidding across the floor, then rising with a fluid precision that feels wrong on his familiar frame and naturally perfect, as though Darkseid is puppeteering every muscle with mathematical coldness. Bruce, please, Superman shouts, fists trembling. Fight him. I know you're still in there. Batman tilts his head slightly. There is no Bruce. There is only the absence of illusion. He moves faster than any human could. His gauntlet snaps forward with a pulse of anti-life code, slamming into Superman's jaw. The impact rattles the station. Superman stumbles, not from pain, but from the shock of seeing his friend reduced to a weapon. Wonder Woman bursts into the chamber, deflecting debris as she charges with her sword raised. Batman intercepts with preternatural reflexes. Steel meets a shimmering barrier of anti-life as he holds up a hand. The sword halts mid-swing, frozen inches from his face. Diana's eyes widen. Impossible. Batman twists his wrist. His sword turns in Diana's hand, cracking her grip and sending her hurtling across the room with a telekinetic shockwave. She slams into a bulkhead, dazed. Superman lunges, grappling Batman and pinning him against the remaining window frame. But Batman speaks not to Superman, but into his mind. You still cling to choice, because you fear responsibility. Superman jerks as the words slither into his consciousness. Memories flicker the destruction of Krypton, faces of people he couldn't save. Jonathan Kent's voice telling him he can't save everyone. The equation is probing him, searching for fractures. Superman's breath hitches. Stop, get out of my head. But Batman's expression is emotionless. I am not invading your thoughts, Kal-El. I am liberating you from them. And then the window gives. The two are sucked into open space. Superman stabilizes instantly. Batman drifts, cape whipping in the vacuum, but the glow around him keeps him alive, sustaining him like a cruel imitation of divinity. Look at them. Batman's voice vibrates directly into Superman's mind, echoing across the stars. Earth has already begun to kneel. Superman turns. What he sees makes his heart drop. Earth, beautiful, blue. Aliv is now wrapped in a dim, pulsating lattice. A web of anti-life energy spreads across the atmosphere like veins of shadow, creeping through countenance. Cities flicker with synchronized lights, millions of minds bending in unison. The chanting grows louder, even in the vacuum of space, echoing telepathically. There is no life. There is only Darkseid. Wonder Woman emerges from the torn hull behind him, grabbing hold of a twisted metal beam to steady herself against the vacuum. Cyborg's voice crackles weakly through both their comms. He's not just influencing Earth, he's recoding its metaphysics. Darkseid's turning free will into a mathematical error. Superman's jaw tightens. We have to cut the signal. He can't, Batman answers, because he isn't broadcasting the equation. He begins to float toward Superman. eyes dull, is evolving it. Before Superman can react, Batman's body detonates with telekinetic force. A wave of pure anti-life slams into him and Diana. Superman wraps himself around her, shielding her with his cape as the blast hurtles them back into the Watchtower ruins. The impact crushes through layers of metal, burying them in darkness. For a moment, all is still. Then Superman pushes upward, coughing, lifting collapsed beams. Diana rises beside him, limping slightly. Cyborg drags himself from a pile of shattered components, half his systems offline. "We're losing him," Cyborg whispers. Bruce is almost fully overwritten. "I can't even detect his original neural patterns anymore." Superman clenches his eyes shut. The pain hits him deeper than any punch. "We have to try. We have to find a way." "Then start now," Wonder Woman says sharply, pointing toward the breach in the hull. Batman is gone. A streak of anti-life energy launches from the Watchtower, spiraling toward Earth. Superman feels something crack in his soul. He knows exactly where Batman is going, and what Darkseid is about to force him to do. "We have to get to Earth," he whispers, "because if Bruce reaches the ground, he doesn't finish. He doesn't need to. Because on Apokolips, Darkseid stands within a swirling monolith of anti-life energy. Arms outstretched, the equation wrapping around him like divine armor. Soon, he murmurs, the last light of resistance will extinguish itself. The last light. Batman, their friend, their brother, now the herald of the end. And he is falling toward Earth, like a meteor of obedience. Batman streaks through the atmosphere like a black star falling to Earth, a trail of anti-life energy scorching the sky behind him. Cities beneath him pause in eerie unison, as if sensing the arrival of something that is no longer human. Streets go quiet. Lights flicker into synchronized patterns. Millions stare upward with blank, glassy eyes, awaiting their new enforcer of obedience. Superman and Wonder Woman descend through the clouds seconds later, Cyborg flying between them with sputtering rockets and half-lit circuitry. The moment they break through the lower atmosphere, the psychic pressure slams into them, thicker, heavier, as though the very air is a cage woven from Darkseid's will. Cyborg gasps. He's accelerating the equation. If it reaches full saturation, every mind on Earth will collapse into him. Superman's eyes dart across the cityscape below. Batman has landed in Metropolis, and he is walking toward the Daily Planet, the symbolic heart of human truth. Clerk Diana begins, almost a whisper. He's going to use the planet as a broadcast amplifier. Superman doesn't answer. He's already moving, faster than sound, faster than desperation itself, because this time he isn't racing to save a city, or a planet, or a universe. This time, he's racing to save Bruce. He crashes down onto the Daily Planet roof, just as Batman steps onto the iconic globe, anti-life crackling around his boots. The sphere beneath him slowly fractures, tiny glowing veins crawling across its surface like a virus infecting the Earth, last symbol of free thought. Batman turns, cape whipping as a gust of dark energy swirls around him. His voice is calm. To calm Kal-El, you persist. Superman steps forward, every muscle tense. Bruce, I know you can hear me. Fight him. Fight it. Don't let Darkseid turn you into this. Batman tilts his head slightly, like an emotionless puppet analyzing an insect. There is nothing to fight. There is no conflict left within me. The equation has freed me from fear. But Superman hears something, a tremor, a crack in the monotone. Something inside Bruce flickers. Superman lowers his voice. Bruce, remember who you are. Batman moves his hand. A wave of anti-life energy erupts. Superman blocks it with crossed arms, pushed backward but holding his ground. Batman steps forward, eyes dim as dying stars. You want me to doubt? He says. But doubt is suffering. Darkseid has shown me peace. Wonder Woman lands beside Superman, gripping her shield. Peace, without choice, is not peace, Bruce. It's oblivion. Batman raises his gauntlet, and Wonder Woman moves faster than thought. She wraps the lasso of truth around him. The globe beneath him shakes. The sky rumbles. Batman staggers as the lasso lights up, glowing violently against the anti-life code crawling across his armor. For the first time, Batman screams. It's not loud, it's not long, but it's human. Cyborg crashes onto the roof behind them, using his last functional processors to amplify the lasso's output. Push the truth into him force. the equation to conflict with his identity matrix. Batman drops to one knee, until flickers erratically around him. His memory's fragments flash like lightning. Crime Alley, the Batcave, Jason's laughter, Dick's first acrobatic flip, Alfred's voice, steady, warm. Master Bruce. Superman steps forward, kneels beside him. "Bruce," he whispers, voice breaking, "come back to us." Batman's lips twitch. His fingers tremble. His eyes flicker between lifeless gray and their old, haunted blue. For one heartbeat, one fragile instant, Bruce Wayne resurfaces. He inhales sharply. Cluck. Superman's breath catches. But the moment shatters. Darkseid's voice rumbles across the entire world, vibrating through stone, air, and mind alike. Enough. A column of antilife erupts from the sky, crashing into Batman like a divine hammer. The ground explodes. Wonder Woman and Cyborg are blasted backward. Superman holds his ground barely, but the force nearly snaps his bones. Batman is lifted into the air, suspended like a marionette on invisible strings. Darkseid manifests above him in a colossal projection of Omega-lit shadow, his presence stretching across the horizon like a second, cruel sun. "You cannot reclaim what is mine," Darkseid growls. The moment the equation touched his mind, your detective ceased to exist. Superman roars, flying upward, hurling a punch with enough force to crack mountains. Darkseid catches it with a single hand. "You still believe brute strength can challenge inevitability," Darkseid whispers. He tightens his grip. Agony explodes through Superman's arm. Wonder Woman leaps into the sky, sword raised, but Darkseid's projection lashes out with a cascade of Omega beams. She blocks one, two, then a third, slams her into a building, shattering the concrete structure. Cyborg fires every remaining weapon he has, but the beams rewrite his blasts into harmless sparks mid-air. Darkseid's voice deepens. "This universe ends today." He lifts Batman higher. Anti-life spirals around them, forming a vortex across the entire city. Humanity begins to chant again, louder than before. There is no life. There is no choice. There is only Darkseid. Superman, eyes burning, looks directly at Bruce Helt, like a corpse kept alive only by cruelty. His voice breaks as he screams, "Bruce, please!" And finally, Batman looks down at him. One last flicker of consciousness. One last shred of the greatest will on earth. Batman forces a whisper through gritted teeth, through the crushing weight of the equation. "Clark, don't let him." And with the last of his free will, Batman severs his own mind. The psychic shockwave breaks the tether between him and Darkseid in an instant. His body collapses, plummeting toward the roof. Darkseid roars not in fear, but in wrath. The vortex destabilizes anti-life spasms. Superman catches Bruce, cradling him with shaking hands, but Bruce is barely breathing. Darkseid glares down at them, Omega beams igniting. "You have delayed the inevitable, but you cannot stop the final order." His projection shatters. The equation continues to spread across Earth with unstoppable force. Batman is dying, and the Justice League has seconds to decide: fight the anti-life directly, or save the last human capable of resisting it. Either choice risks everything, no matter what they do next. The final order has only just begun. The world stands on the edge of annihilation, not from destruction, but from absolute obedience. Darkseid has tasted omnipotence. The anti-life equation grows stronger by the second. Batman lies broken, having sacrificed his mind to give the League a chance. And Superman, holding his brother in his arms, now faces the hardest choice he has ever known. Fight an enemy who controls thought itself, or protect the last flicker of resistance in a dying world. The universe trembles beneath the weight of Darkseid's victory. But as long as even one spark of free will survives, the final order is not complete, and the fight for existence is far from over.